Hello, founders, and welcome to the Startup Foundations podcast. I'm your host, Greg Miaskiewicz. Today on the show, I chat with Andrew Peterson, CEO and co-founder of Signal Sciences, a security startup that recently sold to Fastly for $775 million and one of the largest exits ever for a Los Angeles startup. Andrew discusses how he met his co-founders, how to build a great company culture, and tells the story of his company's recent acquisition. So you never founded a company before Signal Sciences. What were some of the biggest challenges you encountered as a first-time founder? Like what did you wish you had known when you were first starting out that you didn't know?
I got a lot of really good advice early on. It's funny because I found it's technically not true. I founded a company in high school, and I set up people's home networks and home printers and routers. Which, if anybody has experience with that, they know. Yeah, it's worth paying somebody else to do that stuff because it's super hard, or at least it was back in the day. But I've wanted to and thought about doing entrepreneurship very early on, and I spent my first 10 years of my career working for other people and trying to learn as much as I can from other really great companies. And I kind of pushed it off as long as I could, Greg, to be honest, because I knew how hard it was going to be to actually do it. And I think, when I went into doing it, some of the things that I try to tell other people is that, look, this is a 10-year commitment. Like, if you actually really are, if you're going to make this thing work, it's going to be a 10-year commitment. That's how long it's going to be. And I was very careful about who I started the company with, and so I'm so thankful and glad that not only I started the company with the founders that I did, but that we had experience working together before in a working environment, so we kind of knew what we were getting ourselves into. Those are really big pitfalls I think that I see other people sort of have. And then I think we just kind of had patience, and we had great partners along the way and a great team along the way that was just kind of along for the ride. And that was kind of our mentality going into it. Is there stuff that I wish I would have known? Yeah. But I don't think there's a perfect founding story. There's always going to be problems, but there was nothing that was a fundamental thing that I was like, oh, I really wish somebody had told me that, because it would have been different. So
Cool. Thanks for joining us, Andrew.
of course, thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Startup Foundations podcast, a podcast that tells the stories of startup founders and how they built their companies from the ground up. Until next time, keep building and keep innovating.